Hi, good everyone, especially to you, Sir Anthony Kamali. I am Alexander Carl B. Lackley, B. Screen 2 at Moise. I live in Talisayan, Misamis Oriental. And this is my topic report for 20 minutes. Nationalism and patriotism. Here, basic concept of nationalism and patriotism. Nationalism is an ideology and movement defined by promoting the interests of a particular nation in particular with the aim and acquiring and maintaining the nation sovereignty over its country of origin. Smith 2010 nationalism claims that each nation should regulate itself free from outside intervention, that a nation is a natural and ideal political basis, and that the nation is the only legitimate source of political authority. Finlation 2014 it's also aimed to build and maintain a single national identity based on shared social characteristics such as a culture, language, religion, politics, and beliefs in distinctive shared history, and to promote national unity or solidarity. Yak 2012. Nationalism therefore seek to preserve and encourage a nation's traditional culture and culture. Rebels have been connected to nationalism movement. It also fosters pride in domestic accomplishment and is strongly associated with patriotism. Traditionally, 1998 nationalism often feared with the other ideologies, for instance, conservative of socialism. Finlation 2014. Here, I will report the types of nationalism. First is types of nationalism. Nationalism can be expressed along civil, ethic, cultural, religious, or ideological lines. This self-definition of countries are used to classify distinct kinds of nationalism. Although this category are not manually exclusive, and many nationalist movements combine to differing degrees some or all of these components. So, number 1, ethnic nationalism. Ethnicalism, the country described from prior generation. In terms of ethnicity and descent, it's also involved the concept of a shared culture among groups, members, and generally a shared language. The nation membership is hereditary. The state derives political legitimacy from its status as the ethnic group homeland, and from its obligation to safeguard the particularly domestic group and as a group to promote its family and social life. It is contrast to Western opinions of a country, defined by its geographic territory. Theorist Anthony D. Smith utilizes the word ethnic nationalism for non-Western nation nationalism. The word nationalism is usually used only in relation to nationalists who support as explicit ideology along these lines. The more generic words is ethnic nationalism, and it is used by nationalists who hold such views in an informal, instinctive, or unsystematic manners. The pejorative types of vote is ethnocentric nationalism or tribal nationalism. Although tribal nationalism may have a non-pejorative significance when dividing Africans, Native American, or other nationalism that publicly claim a tribal identity. And number 2, civic nationalism. Civil nationalism. The state derives political legitimacy from its citizens' active involvement and the extent to which is reflect the will of the individual. Civic nationalism lies within the traditional or rationalism and liberalism, but it is constructed with ethnic nationalism as a type of nationalism. Civic nationalism membership is regarded to be voluntary. The growth of representative democracy in nations such as the United States and France was affected by civil nation values. The state nationalism, often with ethnic nationalism, is the version of civic nationalism. It means that the country is a community of those who contribute to the state, maintain and strength, and there is the person to contribute to the object. The country is supposed to be a community of those who contributing to the state, maintain and strength, and where the person exists expressly in the society to contribute to the objective. This often result is fascism, generally characterized by authoritarianism and nationalism. Fascism is a political ideology. And number 3, expansionist nationalism. A radical form of imperialism that includes independent patriotic feelings with a faith in expansionism, generally through military aggression. The word has coined in the late 19th century as European powers in the scramble for African in the name of domestic glory, but was most closely linked with militarist government in the 20th century, including past Italy, Nazi Germany, the Japanese Empire, and the Balkan nation of Albania, Great Albania, Bulgaria, greater from Bulgaria, Croatia, greater than Croatia, Hungary. Here, nations are not believed to equivalent to their right to determination. Some countries are believed to possess feature of quality that make them superior to others. Therefore, expansionist nationalism argues the right of the state to expand its boundaries at the cost of its neighbor. 4. Romantic nationalism. It is otherwise known as organic nationalism and identified nationalism. It forms of ethnic nationalism which the state derives political legitimacy as a result and expression of the nation natural. It is based on the expression of the nation natural. It is based on the presence of historical, ethnic culture and meets the romantic ideal. So, it is romantic values and enforced to nationalism, alignment, historical ethnic culture that makes the romantic ideal was emphasized by romantic nationalism. Folklore involved as a romantic nationalism nation. Number 5. Culture nationalism. The countries is described by the shared culture, not solely civic and ethnic. Chinese nationalism is an instance of culture nationalism. Virtually due to China, many national minorities membership in the nation is neither completely voluntary nor hereditary. However, traditional culture can be readily integrated into the lives of any person, particularly if the person can obtain his or her abilities an early point of his or her own lives. Conversely, 2008 culture nationalism has been defined as a variety of non-civil or ethnic nationalism. Nielsen, 1999. Number 6. Third world nationalism. Nationalism feelings are outcome of opposition to colonial rules to survive and maintain a domestic identity. Number 7. Liberal nationalism. It is a kind of nationalism lately defined by the political philosopher who thinks that a non-xenophobic forms of nationalism compatible with liberal values of liberty, tolerance, equality, and individual rights can exist. Their Tammy, 1993. Kyle 1995. Miller, 1995. It is asserted that in order to lead meaningful, independent life, people need a national identity, and those liberal democracies need to the domestic identity to work correctly. Liberal nationalism often define the important domestic identity by stating the people need a domestic identity to lead meaningful, independent life. Kim Leka, 1995, and that liberal democratic politics need domestic identity to work correctly. David, 1995, Arash, 2002, Ernest Renan, author of QSCQ Nation, and John Stuart Mill are often thought to be early liberal nationalism. And number 8, religious nationalism. Religious nationalism connection to specific religious faith, church, or affiliation. It can be seen that a shared religion contribute to a sense of domestic unity and mutual bond between the nation of people. This connection can be divided into emotion, religious, politician, and regulation. Converse effect of the politicians and regulation. In a former aspect, it can be seen that shared religion contribute to a sense of unity, common bond between the nation of people. The support of national identity comparable to a shared ethnic language or culture is another political element of religious. More ideological is the impact of religious on politics where present inflation. And number 9, fan nationalism. Ethnic or cultural nationalism refers to a country that it is self-to of a society, ethnic and cultural community, such as a Turkish people. Diaspora nationalism. Diaspora nationalism is its ethnic population regarding outside their traditional homeland. It is this type nationalism. There is nationalism since the Irish in the United States, the Jews in the United States and elsewhere, ECT. Here, patriotism. Patriotism or nationalism, a national pride. It is sense of love, dedication, and attachment to a country and alliance with other people who share the same impression. This attachment can be mixture of many distinct emotions, including culture, political, or historical elements related to own countries. It is predominant virtue linked to a nation love with greater emphasis on values and beliefs. One who is patriotic will be willing to offer any sacrifice to his nation. He never live alone. For example, the sake of his country, a soldier make the ultimate sacrifice of his life for no other reason than being a citizen of that nation. Patriotism is a dedication to one nation. In instances, patriotism is a sense of attachment and dedication to a country, nation, political community, or just country love. The English word patriot is the first known as the Elizabeth period from Latin 6th century. Patriotism via Middle French meaning countryman, finally from Greek patriotis meaning from the same nation, patris meaning fatherland. Liddell and Scott 2013. The abstract known patriotism appears in the 18th century. According to the national regulation, patriotism can be reinforced. This is the reverse of the church state separation requested by the English Testament, who saw patriotism and religious as element and opposing force to Michael Willing and Jean Wittke Epstein both asserted that it is hard to discern and distinction between patriotism and faith, and defend heavily on the attitude of the person who does the level billing 1995. Kind of patriotism. Number 1, patriotism of duty. This includes fidelity to one nation throughout materials acts. This is military service, patriotism, and other self-sacrifice type. This is where patriotism becomes embodied, and it is ideal to take praiseworthy particular action. So that's all. Thank you. And again, I am Sankar Belakre, base Krem to Atmois, and this is my report for 20 minutes. But nationalism and patriotism.